even away from the parliamentary majority, on the issue of the speakers of both houses of parliament, occupying those positions and still occupying the positions of party leaders of their respective parties. That is something that even the court pronounced itself on the matter. That will affect both houses.
Okay, let me come to that, but I wanted to make it even more clearer. When you talked about committees, when Honorable was being asked about committees, now the actual facts reveal themselves. Committees, Fred, are constituted, and for those Kenyans listening to me, in Parliament, for you to be a chair of a committee, you have to be elected by your fellow parliamentarians. You have to, as a date is set, the clerk of the National Assembly or Senate would set a date when the members of that committee sit to elect the leadership. That's the first business of the committee. In fact, the only business of the committee. The clerk will call the meeting to order, elections are held, and then the person who garners the majority becomes the chair and the vice chair. Now, ordinarily, except these committees that are supposed to be watchdog committees, like the Senate Public Accounts, Senate Investments and Special Funds Accounts Committee. Those two committees are supposed to go to the opposition. Mm-hmm. So those ones, the opposition must sit as chair. So those
are the ones that will be affected by this decision.
Opposition must sit as chair. Now let's go to all the other committees. Okay. When you go to the sitting to elect, assuming that you've given a ruling that the minority are the majority, when you go to sit in the sittings, all those affiliated to that side will give you the chair. You will go to another committee, they'll give you the chair. You will go to another committee, they'll give you the chair. So that ruling in parliamentary language does not make any sense.
But you do accept, as far as the park and peak committees, that will have to change, if at all this stays. According
to the standing orders, mm-hmm. the peak and the park are supposed to be chaired by the opposition, mm-hmm. okay? But I'm also looking at this situation that you are then denying the opposition the opportunity to actually act as watchdog, because you go for elections. So let's just assume that they operationalize the ruling. They will go for elections. Kenya Kwanza coalition will take all the seats in the committees. That's for sure, unless there's negotiation. And then Kenya Kwanza again will sit in the watchdog committees as chair. Do you see how ridiculous that whole arrangement is? Because reality is they have the numbers. De facto is they have the numbers. So they will sit and take all those committee seats all the other seats together with the opposition seats, the watchdog committee seats. It doesn't make sense. So I'm saying sometimes I think the courts should be invited to, first of all, allow the political parties tribunal to settle the disputes before they come on appeal to the High Court. Otherwise, it gives a ridiculous situation like I've explained to you, okay. That now the opposition will be denied even sitting on the watchdog committees. Now, let me come to the other issue of whether the speaker should be chairing, should be party leader in his position. The court has said that no, the speaker's position is supposed to be neutral. So you are not supposed to be affiliated to any political party. Okay? Now, if you come to the Senate, our speaker, Kingi, has relinquished his position as the leader of that party. I have not seen him do anything to do with PAA, his political party. And I've seen like other people have been pushed to take over that position. That's why you don't see any issues around political parties with our speaker. On the other hand, the National Assembly speaker, that was the subject matter of this judgment, they were saying you cannot be active member of your political party and at the same time, you're the speaker of the National Assembly. Now, again, this is interesting. Eh? This is very interesting because the speaker sits as the chair of the House. In fact, when you go to a committee of the whole, the speaker is the chair of the House. If you come to committees, the committees belong to people who are in political parties. They are also elected as members. If I'm UDA and I'm elected chair of my committee, I'm sitting as the chair of that committee. Does that take away my impartiality when I'm sitting there as chair, when I'm ruling? In fact, in most occasions, there's hardly anything to do with political parties. I want to say this again. If this matter was being heard by a political party's tribunal, maybe the visualization or the ruling would have been different. Because in the US, for example, the vice president, like now J.D. Vance, is actually the automatic speaker of the Senate. Okay? And he's obviously associated, and he is a Republican. In the US, that's how it is. So there is nothing, in fact, that ruling to any practitioner of politics, it's wrong on the face of it.
The way our politics works is a bit different. Seeing the Speaker of the National Assembly accompanying the President, standing on top of his car, campaigning with the President, then